Yep.
Gitanjali, welcome.
Hey Darren, how are you?
Good. Crazy. Today is Machine Learning Day. And it's so great to have you part of this day. It's so great to have you share your story of being a woman in tech, a thought leader, and share it on a day that we're trying so hard to promote all the great work in machine learning and data science. So, Gitanjali, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's about time we got a day to celebrate ourselves. So yeah, thank you for having me on the show. And yeah, glad to be here.
That's funny you said that. And I'm glad we have a day and it's not a Saturday and it's not a Sunday. Like we deserve a day, right? Isn't that fair? We work pretty hard. We deserve a day.
Of course we do. Yeah.
And, as we think about your journey and we think about this day, I mean, love to get a sense of who you are. Why'd you get started in this crazy world of data science? Not too many women in tech. So pick it up
Right.
wherever you want, but we'd love to hear your story.
Sure. So quickly, right? I started off with an engineering degree, my undergraduate course. So I have a computer science background, and once I finished my computer science degree, I decided that I wanted to also get into the business side of things, right? While I get the tech side of things, I also want to understand how it's implemented in companies or in the real
Why
world.
not? Why not? Like just throw more at it. Why not? Right?
Exactly, right? And that kind of led me to looking at master's options abroad.
Yep.
And that's when I ended up picking the master's in business degree at the University of Maryland College Park at the Smith School of Business. And that's kind of where I got started with analytics, right? So when I kind of saw how the tech was being implemented in the real world, and that was heavily a part of the coursework that I did there, I kind of saw that there was a definite need for data to be understood better across organizations. And once I graduated, I also worked with one of the big four accounting firms, right? So that gave me a huge opportunity to look at how data is perceived across different industries, right? So that gave me the opportunity to work under in the analytics team across different industries like finance, like oil and gas, multiple industries, retail. So that's how I got started with analytics, and it really gave me a good understanding of why data is important and why analytics specifically is important to every organization and how much value it can drive for the business. And once I did that, so since it was an accounting firm and I'm not technically from an accounting background, I did want to be in the tech space, right? I did want to work for a tech company.
Yep.
So then I ended up moving back to India, which is where I'm from, and I started working with an AI startup here called Mastery Then, which is we're an AI startup, right? So we're based on we build products based on computer vision and machine learning. And me particularly, I work in the analytics team here at Mastery 10. And it's been a crazy journey for us here, right? Because we've not really, for me specifically, I have not been exposed to AI before. I did not know how analytics would work with an AI, with AI products, right? So when it started off, we had all the data, and that's all we knew. We have the data, now how do we make the best use of it? And the first year or so, I spent a lot of my time just talking to customers, understanding what business problems they face. And then it was just very clear to me that, we have the data and we should let the data speak. We should use the data to help them make better business decisions. And since then, that's what we've been doing as part of our job at Mastery Then. We started off with like a team of 3, and now we're about 8 people. So we're growing steadily in about like 2 years. And so right now we're in the space where we're clearly able to help customers make business decisions through data, especially when the products are around AI. It's not very clear to them, what's really going on, right? You say this is happening, it's all automated, and that's great, but what does that mean for me, right? What ROI are you driving for me? And that's where we kind of step in and help them understand what value we are driving and what we can do better and what they can do better. Everything data can help them, decide.
Right. Now, you talk about the journey, right? Your analytics journey. There's 2 journeys there. There's your journey because you have an interesting background, right? So there's your journey. Then the company journey. I think you guys have just raised money. What has that been like? What's it been like to be a funded company? Any stories you can share? Any advice you can share?
Sure. So as far as the growth journey for the company is concerned, we started off with retail, and because that was one of the use cases where we saw computer vision showing the most value.
Yes.
And then as we progressed, we realized that there's a lot more than just that, right? So now we've opened up to not just retail, but we're outside retail as well, with like healthcare, fintech, education, all of those industries, right? So it's very interesting from an analytics point of view, because when you look at it, we're solving multiple use cases, right? But if you kind of look at it from a bird's eye view, the problems are very similar. The problems that we're trying to solve across all these industries are very similar. So the way in which we try to, prove the value add, or prove the improvement in algorithms, or help them understand how we can improve the algorithms, those kind of analysis become very interesting, because we're across different industries right now. And I think that's been like a huge learning as part of this growth journey in the company specifically.
I want to go there for a second. So if I think about Machine Learning Day, and I just think about what you said, you spend time with customers to understand their business objectives, and then we're going to build the solution to solve that. Can you walk us through maybe your process of getting through the business need? Because I think you're right. I think we have to understand the business need, then build and understand the data. So pick that up wherever you want, but what's your process of going through, building the foundational business thesis, model, strategy before you touch the data?
Right. So there's always an underlying problem that they're trying to solve, right? Which will somehow, there is a dotted line to revenue, to optimizing their revenue, right? It could be at a very early stage, which is, how do you kind of optimize your catalog onboarding? How do you get more products into your, online store, right? It could be far away from the from like an order or the revenue side of things, right? So what do you kind of do to prove the value add there, right? You're automating, you're helping them save time. There's faster time to market there. So those kind of metrics kind of come into the picture there, right? Whereas once it's on the website and you're trying to push for conversions, or you want more people to discover your products, improve your catalog visibility, and get people to purchase, what happens there? So that's where we kind of we have our own search and personalization algorithms, which help customers find exactly what they want by just looking at their user behavior, the kind of catalog inputs that we get through the product, right? And we kind of stitch these two data points together to give them the most optimized website experience or website journey that they would want.
So now, your background, I love your background. Has that helped you, right? Because you've gone from non-data scientist to data scientist, accounting, fintech. So your background, super interesting. How does that help put all this together in these customer meetings? It's a fascinating background.
Right. So when I started off in like a non-tech company, it was great for me to learn what data meant to people, but not as much. I did not understand the core of what we were doing, because I'm not from an accounting background.
Right.
And for me to kind of grow in that accounting space, I needed to have that background.
Yeah.
So I had two options. I either picked that up, or I switched to a company where I found my interest, right? So when I started off there, it was great for me to kind of understand how important data is, because from an accounting perspective, accuracy or the correctness of the data is everything, right? So how important is the quality of the data? How important is data sanity? Like those kind of things I picked up because I was a part of that kind of a company, which put so much emphasis on data quality. And once I moved out of it, it was more around, okay, it's not just about accounting. It's not just about showing out or showing your customers how you can basically make their work easier by automating, let's say, the trial balance generation and things like that, right? It's more than that. So my decision was very conscious, because I wanted to move into a tech space, because I was from a tech background. My undergrad was in technology, and that was a conscious decision I took, because I wanted to see what was going on in the tech. I knew that was my interest, right? That's where I knew I could contribute, and I wanted to contribute, and I wanted to learn. And exactly, so that's how I got to the tech space. Yeah.
Women in tech. When you look at your career journey, were there more women in your previous cohort than where you are now? I could be an obvious question, but I just want to get a sense of, or was it always lonely?
This is a very interesting question because I know the general perceptions that exist there. But in fact, for me specifically, in my previous company, there were women enough. I mean, it was a good split, right? Because it was accounting and there's enough women both enough split between men and women there. But specifically talking about Math then we do emphasize, the CEO is a woman herself, right? So we have very like consciously made sure that there is a 50-50 split at every single level. So that is something it's kind of pursued very aggressively at our end, and our policies, everything is around making sure that there is equality at all levels.
I love it.
Be pay, anything. Yeah.
I love it. So now this is Machine Learning Day and there's a lot you can give back. So any advice you'd give your younger self, any advice you'd give to someone just getting into the career? Because again, you've not had the traditional path, right? You've gone through different places. So on this day, I mean, how do we give back? How do we just give a little bit of gold dust to people listening?
Right. I think from my point of view, the one thing I would say I did right was take decisions myself and not get influenced by the factors around me. Right. For example, for me, it was a very difficult decision to kind of quit my job one day and decide not knowing what to do next and kind of come back to India and start from scratch again. That was a very difficult decision for me to make, but I knew that's what I wanted, right? I was very sure that I did not want to continue in that space, and kind of listening to what you really want to do. And if you find yourself continuously in an unhappy place and you don't see why you're doing what you're doing, do not be afraid to take a step back, rethink, and kind of restart again, because it's not worth it if you're not enjoying it.
You're giving us gold, sharing the similar story. I do believe do everything you can to put yourself in a place where you can be happy. And if you're not happy, it's very hard to leave. It's a paycheck. It's very hard to leave. It's familiar, but you just look back and you're like, where did those 4 years go? Where did those 3 years go? You can't get them back. So I appreciate you having the courage to move back to another, back home. So I think that's two great things. I want to thank you for being on the show. I want to thank you for being part of Machine Learning Day. This is a special day for so many. It's one of many days that we want to own. And this is all sponsored by Pandio ML. They're launching their new ML product today, so you can check them out at pandio.com. Gitanjali, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks, Javin. Thanks for your time.
like 1 year ago with my wife to Seattle. So we live in Seattle now. I'm pretty happy, like it's a nice place. And actually we've been recently with my wife, we went for vacation to Florida. We were in Marco Island, very beautiful area. We love it, beautiful beaches. But
Beautiful area. Yes. Oh my God. Marco Island. Yes.
Nice area, yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
we live in Seattle.
Yeah, that's fine. I was in San Francisco, and then when we could work anywhere, I have family here, and my anywhere has a palm tree. So when someone says, "Where's your anywhere?" There's a palm tree next to it. So there are a few people I want to connect you with. Andre, thank you for being flexible. This is something we wanted to do. So loved having you on the show, and we are going to be friends for a long time. I have a great feeling about this.
Yeah, it was really great, pleasure talking to you, Darren. Thank you. Yeah, would be glad to talk more. Thank you very much.